And I want you to write this down. Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. That with all the stuff that's going on, with all of the confusion from the scientific community, from the leadership, from the presidency on down, it has collateral effect. And there are so many people that's confused. You wear the mask or you don't have to wear the mask. Or if you have the coronavirus, you need to wear the mask so you don't give it to somebody else. And if you have it, you should stay in the house. They got all kind of things. If you make love, you should have the mask on. That is not romantic to me. You know, I say, wait a minute, y'all coming all up in the bedroom. Okay, baby, put your mask on. Well, how am I gonna kiss you with my mask on? Oh, behave, whatever. But all kind of confused, you know, all this stuff going on. And you could die from talking to somebody with a mask that's held under their nose. You know why my hair is like it and I'm looking like Kid and play like Kid from House Party? Because my barber, he likes to wear his mask like this. I said, man, put your mask on, all right? I told him. So he does this. Man, hey, hello? Habla español, English? What? Come on, have I told? Put your mask on, cover your mouth. I know your breath kicking like Bruce Lee, but cover the nose too. It's, I mean, about to make me lose my mind over this. I decided I'm not going through that. I'm not going through that. I'm not coming out the house till 2027. And I work on myself. I got some new squirrel friends. I'm bilingual. I speak squirrely. And I listen to motivational messages first thing in the morning. You want to listen to my voice. Go on YouTube. Find Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. Find Les Brown. It's possible. And I tell the story about the bamboo tree. Find Les Brown getting unstuck. And I talk about Chicken Man. Listen to things. Listen to me. Listen to things that can build your mental resiliency. You want to have a resilient, purpose-driven mindset that will focus your mind on the goals that you want to achieve, on the things that you need to do to reinvent yourself, to rethink your life, to see whether or not you're on the path to becoming the next greatest version of yourself. And in order to get through this time, I mean, sometimes I when I wake up in the morning, I said, this is still not a dream. This is crazy. People, I'd like to come by and see you. Is that right? Okay, I'm on the first floor. We can talk through the window. Come on. I mean, just think about this. Every day when I see people with masks on looking outside my window, seeing the squirrels jumping from one tree to the other, they never lose their footing. That's why I learned squirrely. Tyrone, he's leading everybody. He's introducing everybody to me. He's the most motivated squirrel in my neighborhood. Les Brown is about to do his StreamYard or another Zoom. My kids say I've been in the house too long. I'm suffering from cabin fever. Whatever. So read 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day. Drill yourself. You say, well, I've listened to it. No. Listen to it until you're manifesting results. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So in order to develop that resilient, purpose-driven mindset, you want to listen to the messages over and over, take notes on things that jumps out for you, and become the embodiment of it, and develop that kind of mindset and how you carry yourself and how you face this thing called life. Faith not tested can't be trusted. So you got to have faith in yourself. But we're being tested right now. If you've never been tested, listen to me. No test, no testimony. Faith not tested can't be trusted. It's easy to have faith when things are going great. When the kids are acting like they have good sense. When you have a job, you have money, you have your health. Oh, no big deal there. But when life knocks on the door, when you go through some stuff, when you get a bad diagnosis, that's when you have to pull on your faith. That's when you have to be resilient. I've got a saying, and all of you know it. Life knocks you down, try and land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Now, here's the other thing that's very important. As you look at yourself, you want to master at least three things, multiple streams of income. Three things. I speak, I train speakers, and I'm an author. And I got other things I'm expanding. And I'm 75. Well, why are you still doing it? Because you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach. I believe that the reason that we look at people over a certain age, Alzheimer's and dementia becomes active, is because they are inactive. My mother used to say it, if you don't use it, you lose it. It takes longer to wear out than to rust out. So the goal is to be actively engaged in life, raising the bar on yourself. Turn down the amount of time that you spend entertaining yourself, watching the television, as my daughter, Dr. Ona Brown, would say, and do things that will stimulate your thinking. It will keep you young. Just because you're 75, chronologically don't mean that you have to look 75. No. And so I decided, just because I'm 75, you're not going to count me out. I'm still here. I'm going to be engaged in this thing called life because I have not done my best work yet. You have not done your best work yet. Every day is the best day of your life, as Orrin Hudson would say out of Atlanta, the chess master. Why? Because if you don't believe that, try missing a day. Every day is the best day of your life. Look for ways in which you can begin to master something, learn something today that you did not know yesterday. Expand your horizon, expand your vision of what's possible for you. Continuously be a student. My high school theme was, you never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. Study. The people that are going to make it today are looking at the various trends. They're going from mindset mastery, learning 3 things that they can master to create non-performance income, and they're studying continuously, learning things that they can get at the end of their fingertips on the internet. There's no excuse today for not being in the mindset of achieving something beyond that which you have already done. Life is an adventure. Helen Keller said life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. And this is an exciting time that you can earn money at the comfort of your home. Think about that. Virtually around the world. I just finished talking to some people in Germany. And then I talked to some people in Toronto, Canada. I'm making money around the world and I'm still home, virtually. Take advantage of this. This is something you want to learn. Mindset mastery and skill set mastery of the internet. Now here's something else. You have to, as you look at yourself, look at your goals, look at your dreams, not only is a resilient, purpose-driven mindset is important. Last night we did our Hungry to Speech training we do on Thursday nights. What I shared with people, how you can have a story or you don't have to have a story. how the best speakers are the best listeners. And so I listen very deeply. And some of you have seen me take someone's story. I will ask, can I take a swing at it? And they say, yes. And then I do a piece with it. And they say, how you do that? Well, this is something that I love. And so I'm always listening. So the best speakers listen not just with their ears and not being judgmental, but listen with their hearts and what touched them. So I'm going to give you an example, and this is something that coaches and salespeople and multi-level marketing people and speakers and just business people should use as a strategy to learn how to become more effective and think on your feet. And if you're called upon to give a presentation, listen closely when you're in meetings and sitting and taking notes, that if something that gets touched you, then you can use that. So I'm going to give you an example. Last night, one of our members in Hungry to Speak, one of the speakers said last night, God's up to some amazing stuff. God's up to some amazing stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. As we look at all that's going on in the midst of the pandemic, in and out of it, here's what we know. God is up to some amazing stuff with your life. Because in this thing called life, it's about growth. This thing called life, it's about handling and transforming ourselves to accommodate the disruptions of life. This thing by life and where we are right now, it's full of distractions. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. What's most important is just keep focused and allowing yourself to be fueled by your faith. My son John Wesley said that your faith is a down payment on your future. Come on, somebody. Yes, your faith is a down payment on your future. Focus on your faith, not your problems. Focus on your faith, not your bills. Focus on keeping yourself strong, living yourself and living from the inside out. Because the problems and challenges, they will always be there. Dimples was right when he had that song. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's absolutely true. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's a part of life. And so here's something else. Not only do you want to stay focused, keep this in mind. Good quote, good wisdom impacted in this quote. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Hello? When things go wrong, don't go with them. I'm at the airport. I'm waiting to pick somebody up. And you all, if you travel, you've seen a guy out there telling people to circle. And I was circling perhaps my 7th time, my 8th time, and he was getting on my last nerve. You know why he got on my last nerve? Because there was a young lady there that he was rapping to and trying to get a date with properly, and she didn't have to move. So I pulled right up behind her. And he said, hey, keep moving. I said, no, buddy. When she goes, I go. And I got out of my car and told him. I said, hey, I don't have any problem with you rapping to this lady here, but don't let me run all my gas out while you here trying to get your game on. And so he called for backup. I said, you can call anybody you want to call. And fortunately, God looks out for babies and fools. Lady walked up. She said, Mr. Brown? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out of. Get back in your car and circle. I said, yes, ma'am. It's good to have someone that can disrupt your thinking, that can check you on your stuff. And what she was reminding me of, nobody knows him. And I'm up here arguing with this guy. He's got backup. And when they come, guess who they're going to put in handcuffs? Les Brown. And they don't know that chump. I'm getting mad thinking about it right now. Come on, Tyrone. I ought to send you up there. Because Tyrone, Tyrone's got a black belt in karate. Okay, Tyrone, it's all right. It's all right. Calm down. Yeah. He said, he shouldn't do you like that. I know. He need to know that you just made me Brown's baby boy. I know. Calm down, Tyrone. Just jump up and down, doing flips right now. So at any rate, there are things that's going to happen. Sometimes people will snap on you. I'm on the elevator at Emory Hospital, and they clearly, you know, that you can only have 4 people on there at a time. And then this guy going to run and jump on there to be the 5th person. I said, excuse me, sir. This, you see these spots here? This is 1 there, 2, 3, 4. You're not supposed to be in the middle of us. We don't know you. He looked at us and said, and waved his hand. And I'm looking at him. And I'm saying to myself, you about to make me lose my mind. Up in here. And he's one of those people that aggravate me, who wear their mask beneath their nose. Mask beneath their nose. Then he had to sneeze, and he pulls me. Now, there's a time when people sneeze, you would say, God bless you. But now, let me get to but I'm on the elevator. I can't get off. I said, hey, homie. I said, listen to me. You don't know me like that. I don't need to be in here breathing your sneeze. You better pull that up. Do you hear me? And he pulled it up real quick. Because I was about to give him a touch-up up in there. So, in this place where we are, it's a special time. What are the talents? What are the abilities? What are the skills? What are the ideas that you can be working on right now in and out of the pandemic that can change your life? See, a lot of people are caught up in the distractions. A lot of people spend all kind of TV time and internet time watching old fights and sporting events. But this is no time to be a fan. This is no time to be a spectator. Listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And I believe that we all have built-in greatness. But most people don't take the time to focus, to put in the effort and the time to develop that greatness, to discover that greatness. I'm going through an experience right now. I'm reeling. Here I am, 76. God is full of surprises. And I just laid eyes on my birth mother and father, who were born in Gainesville, Georgia. Just laid eyes on them, saw the picture. And I met 2 brothers I have that I did not know, and a sister. And when we met, we were looking at each other, and they all said, and I can hear them, he acts just like Mama. My birth mother was Dorothy Bell Rucker, and her mother, my grandmother, Beulah Rucker. They have the Rucker Museum, and they both were motivational speakers. Come on now. And people say, well, it's in his DNA. What about my 3 brothers? Know the difference? I focused on this. I developed this. I spent time doing this. See, we all have built-in greatness. And if you don't focus, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't work it, it doesn't work if you don't work it. And they have chosen their path, and that's wonderful. And I say to you, when I was spending a day with Maya Angelou, she said, it aggravates me when people say that I'm a natural communicator. Show me a natural heart surgeon. They are trained. And she's right. This time where we are, God is up to some amazing stuff. This time where we are, there's a reckoning going on. This time where we are, things are being exposed. The sheet, the curtain is being pulled back. this time where we are, we're seeing the rawness and the realness of where we are and what we've been dealing with. And it's going to take everything in you. You got to be hungry. It's going to take everything in you. Take no prisoners. So this place, God is up to some amazing stuff. And if you have this kind of mindset, that you are a miracle child, there are things that God is going to do through you, for you, as you. And have this mindset. Even if you don't have two pennies to rub together, have this mindset. Even if you're going through foreclosure, I've been through that. Even if you've had your car repossessed, they repossessed my car at my cousin's house and his car at my house. You know, I learned a long time ago, to get back on your feet, all you have to do is miss 3 car payments. Oh, behave. Hello. So listen, all that, it doesn't mean anything. What matters most, not what happens to you, but what happens in you. I was talking to Vanny last night, and sometimes you think you've gone through some stuff and you hear other people's story. You say, you know what? I'm good. Vanny talked last night, and she talked about a family moving here from her country, and they used to get up at night with flashlights and look for night crawlers. Night crawlers, worms. Look for worms for several hours, and put them in a can and sell them for $10 a can for people to go fishing for bait. Night crawl. 5 years, over 8 people packed in one room, in pursuit of a dream, in pursuit of a better life. And she said something that was major last night. She says, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to reach your goal, to reach your dream, to change your life. Do what you have to do. And see, a lot of people don't want to do what they have to do. You know what they don't want to do? They don't want to work, so they prefer to suffer. Commit thy works, that's internal work, and external. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. See, you are more than a conqueror. I'm having a hot flash right now. Oh, behave. I call it a power surge. Come on, Mickey Mouse, help me out. You know Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry to tell you this. Got my little Mickey Mouse minute. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I want you to know Tyrone don't like you. Why are you so happy? As Orrin Hudson would say, it's the best day of my life, and yours too. How could you say that? Because you're not taking a dirt nap. If you don't think it's the best day of your life, try missing one. Hello? So, when you focus on the possibilities, when you focus and put your energy on working on finding a solution, on knowing that this too shall pass, when you focus, as Willie Jolly would say, a setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. When you focus, you activate angels in your behalf that will open doors you did not see. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Yes, you do. And your circumstances, your situation, that does not determine it. That's why we are told, judge not according to appearances. There is mind sight and there is eyesight. People who judge with eyesight, who judge based upon what they see, but people who have mind sight, they call forth those things that be not. They live out of their imagination and not their history. They call forth those things that be not as though they were. Oh, that's why my son John Leslie said, your faith is a down payment on your future. And that's why Adam Clayton Powell, former congressman out of New York, said, keep the faith, baby. Keep the faith, even as things are going on right now, with all the divisiveness, with all the confusion, with all the lies. Keep the faith, baby, and social distancing. Keep the faith, baby. You were born for greatness. You have built-in greatness. Keep the faith, baby. One person said, in life, you'll always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. Oh, keep the faith. You were born to do great things.
Look at this question right here. How can I risk establishing my own business without support from others? Guess what it's going to take?
Faith. Yeah, you do what you can do, and God will do what you can't do. I started with nothing. Hello? No money, no four-color brochure. Don't have any MBA. Labeled educable, mentally retarded. Born in an abandoned building on the floor. Foster kid. Adopted. I had this dream of buying my mother a home. I never did that before. There's a reason we're taught to walk by faith and not by sight. There's a reason we're taught to call forth those things that be not as though they were. Those aren't just words printed on a page. And we have to demonstrate that. We got to make our prayers equal to our performance.
Whoa.
And a lot of people are throwing in the towel. A lot of people are giving up. And as we look at ourselves, that faith, it drives us. Faith not tested, can't be trusted. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to happen to you. You can tithe, you can speak in tongues, and life will still kick your butt. The messenger of misery will still come to your house and say, get me some coffee and a newspaper, because I'm going to be here for a minute watching Netflix. I'm going to make your life a living hell. That's the part of the process, but I'll be good. I'll be saved by time. Yeah. So come over here so I can get gangster slap you.
Right. That's so true. And you know what's important sometimes, Dad?
What?
We have to be real. Everyone doesn't have faith.
No.
And sometimes you can go through things that force you to lose your faith. But I know for me, when I lost my faith in myself, my dad's faith in me kicked in. You know why faith is powerful?
Why?
Faith isn't just for you.
No.
It's for others.
Well, without any question. And you know what we're doing now? One of my children has said, I want to work with you. I've seen this for several years. And he was judging the possibilities of what I can do based upon my past failures, based upon the fact that I was diagnosed with 4th-stage cancer. And I'm glad. Some things happen to you, some things happen for you. I said, you don't know me like that. Come on now, you know I'm coming. Listen, come here, come here. You don't know me like that. Don't write me off because I'm 77. Don't write me off because I've had some failures and disappointments and setbacks in the past. Don't write me off because somebody with a stethoscope around their neck talking about how long I got to be here. I like what one of our members in our Hungry to Speak group said, you be the doctor, I'll let God be the timekeeper. Woo!
The next thing that is important is that expect things to get better for you, because they are. See, life is cyclic. You're not, whatever experience you're having right now, it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. Not to stay, just to pass. It's just going through. The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. And maintaining perspective, putting it in perspective. I was doing a training at a college, and it was a 2-day training during orientation. And in the training that I provide, I'm a motivational speaker, but I conduct processes in personal dynamics. where people begin to go through changes that stimulate the right and left hemisphere of the brain, enable them to see themselves differently. I conducted this particular simulation with these young kids, 17 and 18 years of age, so that they would begin to see how they make decisions, or how they would survive in this particular simulation process we gave them. We had them to do it individually and then collectively. Over 30% of them wrote down as their first option, in order to survive, they would commit suicide. First thing they wrote down. Suicide among young people has increased 300%. Over 5,000 will successfully take their lives this year. Why? Why did they do that? I said, I was so shocked. I said, what do you mean? Well, at least we would not suffer. And then they had the nerve to write down all of the other things they were going to do after they committed suicide. I said, listen, Kadumbo. No, when you come up with a permanent solution for a temporary problem, that's it. Game's over. That's it. You're not going to do anything. Anybody wrote suicide at the top, you can put your pencil down. See, a lot of us, because of our limited vision of ourselves, a lot of us who begin to focus on problems and enable them to overwhelm us, we begin to think that we have no options. We begin to believe that there's no way out. Repeat after me, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, I'm unstoppable. You've got to make those kind of declarations to yourself. I'm unstoppable. This will not get me down. And if I get knocked down, I'm going to be like Leo Pascal. You said you're going to have some low moments in life, but when you do, you will have high lows. When you work on yourself. What are some of those things that you can do during this period of time? Go for walks. Do some things for you. Just go for a stroll so you can engage in some reflective thinking on life, on yourself, looking and enjoying the universe, smelling the roses along the way. Listen to upbeat music, music that inspires you. I have oldie but goodies. I have strategies that I engage in to recharge my batteries. I'm preparing for that because I know things are going to happen that I cannot anticipate. A very good friend of mine died the other day. I had a program for myself. I have books that I read that inspire me, tapes that I listen to that fire me up. Because you're going to have sometimes low moments when you won't want to get out of bed. You just want to stay there. At times you won't want to come out the house. At times you'll be feeling bad and don't know why. What's wrong? I don't know. Just leave me alone. Why did that happen? I don't know. It's called life.
That it's necessary for us to begin to look at the future and know that it's possible that we can have our dream. Yes, it is. Other people have done it, then we can do it. We fail a lot of times. Well, a lot of other folks fail, and eventually they came back and they succeeded. So it's possible we can have what we want. And we know that we want to get it. It's necessary that we align ourselves with people that think like we do. It's necessary we get negative, do-nothing people out of our lives. It's necessary we never stop learning and growing and developing ourselves. It's necessary that we never give up. We know that it's you, it's me. It's being responsible for our stuff and deciding that we're going to keep on keeping on, that we're going to find a way to win or find a way to make it happen. And we know it's hard. It's not going to be a picnic. Yes, it's hard, and we will do it hard. And once we do it hard and we go through it, we realize it was worth it. And once you discover it was worth it, it is done. It's done. It's done, ladies and gentlemen, before it happens. Well, here's what I'm suggesting to you. That when you're working, you have a wall to break through. Let's say a friend of mine who runs a marathon, and he says, when he's running the 26-mile marathon, he said, let's say that hypothetically, that 18th mile is the wall. He said, Les, when you get there and you're running, he says, everything in you is telling you to stop, to give up. Every muscle is aching, and you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you just keep on and you keep on and you keep on. It seems like you're moving at slow motion. And then eventually when you break through that 18-mile wall, then you know it's like done and you're on automatic and you glide on in and you know it's there. You know you're going to get to the finish line. And we've all had experiences where we were working on something and we knew it was possible. And we did those things that were necessary to bring it into reality. We took the responsibility to make it happen. Other people couldn't see it. A lot of people didn't believe it. You were attacked. You were criticized. People were opposing you, but you kept on doing it. It was hard. It was rough. It was difficult. But to you, it was worth it. And eventually you got to a level you know, can nothing stop me now. I'm on the move. I'm on the move. Finally, I'm thinking about a friend of mine who is no longer operating on this dimension. His name was Jack Boland. He had this vision of a church that would serve various types of needs for people. There's supportive needs and helping them in recovery from drugs and alcohol and whatever addictions that they might be involved in. And he was known for bringing in different kinds of speakers. And over a year ago, he was diagnosed as having cancer, and he announced to his congregation that he's going to be taking chemotherapy and that it was a possibility that the cancer would go in remission, and he was optimistic about that. And sure enough, it did for a year. And one of the things Jack always talked about is that he wanted to have his funeral while he lived. And so he invited a few friends, Wayne Dyer and myself and a few other speakers. He didn't tell us why we were there, but once we gathered there, the church, they told us in the room that Jack is going to announce to the congregation, he's bringing his doctor up. The doctor is going to say that we felt we could keep it in remission. It's out of remission, and he doesn't have much time left. And whatever words you want to say to Jack that you would say if he had made his transition, speak those words now. Well, we were shocked and we were somewhat stunned until Jack got there. They brought him in a wheelchair, and boy, was he courageous, and he had a strong smile, and they helped him up the steps, and he sat behind the podium, and each of us got up and we said a few things about Jack and the impact that he made on our lives. And he said, the doctor, after announcing that Jack didn't have long, he says, "Doctor," he said, "I accept what you say, but it's possible that does not have to be the case. But if it is, I will enjoy life to the very last breath I take, even the chemotherapy. I will enjoy that." And Jack did, ladies and gentlemen. And when they said that all of his vital organs were failing, they called his family and his close church staff to the hospital and said, "He's dying." And so they came and they all gathered in the room. And Jack at that time was unconscious. And he gained consciousness. And he looked at them and he said, well, what strength he had, he said, "I want to thank you all for being here. You've been a great staff to me." He looked at his sons, his daughter. He said, "You've been a great family." He said, "Don't feel sorry for me." He said, I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to the next adventure." And he sat there for a little while, laid there, and he closed his eyes, and he lost consciousness. About an hour and a half later, he opened his eyes, and he looked at them, and he said, "This is embarrassing. I'm not dead yet." They were laughing through their tears. They said, "Jack, you are a character." He said, "Hey, I hate giving up this kind of control." So they predicted that Jack would die at the end of February. And then on the 2nd, they said, he won't see the light of day. He will be dead by morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack died on March 4th. And we believe that even in his dying, Jack sent his congregation a message that I want to give to you with his permission. March 4th is the day he died, and we believe Jack was saying, "March 4th." So I say, as you look into the future, while other people are giving up, feeling like victims, feeling powerless, becoming negative, turning on each other rather than to each other, feeling that they can't make it, be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind with the mindset of that it's possible that we can save this generation. It's possible that we can create new industries, a new economy. It's possible that I can find a new profession, a new job. It's possible I can create a new life. And it's necessary that I become actively involved in becoming a positive force in my life and on the planet. And it's me, yes, it's you, it's all of us pulling together, working together to create this brand new future. And it's going to be hard. Easy is not an option. But if it's hard, we will do it hard. Whatever is required to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And it's worth it, yes. It's worth whatever we have to do. And once we know that, it is done. It is done. It is done. It is done.
You are an unparalleled motivational preacher. And I use that word very intentionally. You have a way of conveying a message with such chills-inspiring, goosebump-giving power. It's really, really extraordinary to witness, and becomes all that much more powerful knowing that you didn't start there, that wasn't sort of naturally, your beginning, and you've called life a battle for territory.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
That the things that you get in life, Frederick Douglass said, we might not get everything that we fight for, but everything we get, it will be a fight. And I love the quote that life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Like getting ready to come here to see you. I want to just, first of all, thank you for the great work that you're doing. I watch you and I study you, and you have had some incredible guests that impacted my life. And preparing to come here, I'm being treated by Cancer Centers of America for fourth stage cancer, which I've been kicking cancer's butt for 27 years. And I've been working on getting a six-pack before getting here. I still got one pack. And I've been working to get some muscles so I can wear my t-shirt, but they weren't large enough, so I wore a long sleeve.
That's amazing, man. Talk to me about cancer. You've had such an upbeat attitude about it. It's really pretty extraordinary. Was that your initial reaction? Did you go through a trough of despair when you first got diagnosed? Like, how have you framed that?
Dr. Alfred Golson, who has since passed, was a very unusual guy. And he told me, he said, Mr. Brown, you have cancer. I said, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yes, and you're ugly too. I said, oh my God. So I didn't have a chance to have fear, because those three words, you have cancer, three of the most feared words in 7 different languages. I saw it as a fight. And from that time to this time, my PSA was 2,400. And that stands for prostate-specific antigen, and now it's below 0 and metastasized to 7 areas of my body, which was a good thing because 7 is my lucky number. Okay, so I never was fearful that I was going to die from it, and I think that I read something by Dr. Norman Cousins. He wrote a book called The Biology of Hope, and he talked about the fact that when something happens to you, you don't deny it, you defy it. And I was defiant that I'm going to beat this, I'm going to handle this. That there are people who many times when something happens to them, that they embrace it from a place of fear, and it takes them out. And Elsie Robinson said, things may happen to you and things may happen around you, but the most important things are the things that happen in you. And you have to stand up inside yourself and deal with it and handle it. So fortunately, that never bothered me, but I had sciatica pain. That had me speaking in unknown tongues. And I was in a wheelchair for several months, speaking from a wheelchair. And it was something that I dealt with that frightened me. Will this ever end? It was 24 hours. I lost a lot of sleep. It was exhausting, going from all type of specialists in and out of the country. And just one day, it stopped. And I'm glad that I'm past that. You know, I feel like when you go through some stuff, there's some certain things that you don't want ever to see again, and that's what I want to ever see again. But fear has not been the biggest challenge that I've faced with the things that I've been dealing with in terms of my health.
Well, talk to me about the process that you go through mentally. So there have been a few times in your life in getting to know your story where they seem like really key inflection points. Being told that you were teachable but mentally retarded, that for sure is something that would define most people, and they would have a hard time escaping that. Being told that you have cancer, that it's stage 4, that they don't know how to treat it, like that's something that consumes most people. How do you build that resilience? So maybe by the time you get to cancer, you've already done so much work, so I get maybe how that one you're protected by the mechanisms you've built, but in the beginning, how did you crawl out from under the labels that people were putting on you?
The easiest thing I've done was to get out from under the labels and to live the life that I live. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do it.
What's the difference?
The difference is that when you don't know what's impacting you, and it's something that's holding you down and you're not aware of it. The great anthropologist Margaret Mead was in a restaurant in London, and a guy was serving her and said, "There's several Americans here tonight." And she said, "Is that right?" "Yeah." So let me know when you serve them dessert. I'll tell you exactly how many are here. He said, "Oh, you couldn't possibly." And so he came back and said, "Okay, I've done it." And she got up and she walked around and she came back and she said, "There are around 25 here." And he looked at the roster. "How did you know that?" Say, "In America, we eat differently from you when we eat a dessert. You eat it from the crust toward the tip. We eat it from the tip toward the crust. When you eat a slice of pie, how do you eat yours?"
Definitely, yeah, from the tip back to the crust, for sure.
Yeah, okay, and so there are things that when you, in my situation, when you live in a dominant culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self and your belief in yourself, and you have to learn ways in which you can begin to connect with this power that you have within yourself to handle where you are. The key is to be constantly in a perpetual process of discovering the truth of who you are and fighting constantly to look for ways in which you can escape the inner conversation. I speak to audiences around the world, and I train speakers as well, and I tell them that when you speak, that there's an objective that you want to achieve when you speak to an audience, because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. So you as a speaker, when you speak in this program, when people see you, what you do is distract, dispute, and inspire. You distract people from their current story with your guests and the questions that you ask. Through the process of the ongoing questioning and the way in which they respond and the things they have learned, you dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to create a new chapter with their lives. And so, but that's an ongoing process of constantly interrupting that conversation, what psychologists call your self-explanatory style, because life is going to beat up on you in so many ways, and many things, they come back, negative thoughts and how you feel about yourself, they don't die. They come back once you stop doing the maintenance work on your mind, listening to motivational messages, going to seminars and workshops, spending time quietly listening to the still small voice within. Who am I really? Is this really me? Am I giving my best? Am I just reflecting what's around me? Because all of these various things affect how we show up in life. And so having a strategy to continuously find ourselves reaching higher, Robert Schuller had a book. It's not very popular, but I loved it. It's called Peak to Peak, U-P-E-A-K to P-E-E-K, because you're constantly reaching higher to find out and discover your better self.